Here is our PI controller. The motor at this time is trying to reach its steady state position. It's at 7.80 volts at this time. We are trying to reach a voltage of 7.74 volts. So at this time it has to reach its steady state position. This time the motor has reached its steady state position. As you can see here, it is at 20 volts, 20 degrees, and at 20 degrees it is at 7.74 volts. When Wilfredo applies pressure on the motor, you're going to see how the voltage fluctuation happens. He's applying pressure on it and the voltage is going up at 7.88, 7.89 volts. The more he pushes back on the motor, the more the voltage is going to increase as to the motor is trying to make power to be able to reach that steady state position of 20 degrees again. If he releases the motor should go back to its steady state position and go back to that 7.70, 7.74 volts. If he tries to move the motor forward, the motor should decrease its voltage to be able to go back to that steady state position that it had previously. And as you can hear, the propeller also diminishes the speed to be able to go back to that steady state position that it needs. When it is let go, the motor will fluctuate and will oscillate and try to reach again to that steady state position. As you can see here, we have 5 op-amps. We have the feedback from the potentiometer as well, the transistor, and also a variable resistance to be able to get the gain that is necessary to reach 20 degrees. Here we have the potentiometer connected. This is what will give us our feedback to be able to know what is that feedback that's coming back from the controller.
What's the voltage of the feedback?
The voltage of the feedback is around 0.51 volts. It will fluctuate a little bit depending on the motor's fluctuation to be able to reach that steady state
And the reference
position.
voltage?
The reference voltage at op-amp 1, this is the regular voltage, reference voltage at 5.09 volts.
The output at op-amp 1
is negative 5.59 volts.
Output at op-amp 2
5.40 volts.
at op-amp 3
is 5.56 volts.
at op-amp 4,
is going to be negative 10.85 volts.
and then we need to invert that voltage in order to make the motor work. So we added an inverter,
which would be our 5th op-amp, and that is 7.55 volts, which is more than enough to be able to power the motor and give it that resistance and that current and everything in that voltage it needs to be able to work properly. The other thing that we noticed, if we then change the motor to 30 degrees, we can see more of the fluctuation on the motor. And that concludes our PI controller video.